Fans from all around the globe. My name is Riley Magnuson. This is East Coast Sports Investors Closing Bell for Tuesday, June 6th. I am potentially solo host for this afternoon show. If so, going to keep it short and sweet as always. May or may not get an appearance from Jeff Dawson. Honestly, that's a TBD. The man is a very busy man. I do know that he and Scotty Webb, I do believe, will be back in a couple of hours, regardless of what happens here on this show here, talking all things MLB. But as far as this show is concerned, we've obviously got no NBA Finals tonight, no Stanley Cup tonight. So we've just got nothing but MLB as far as what's on tap for tonight. Some other news around the sports world. Evening Connor, thank you again for stopping by as always. At the end of the day, we'll talk about some breaking news and then get right into the baseball slate. As far as we'll go outside of baseball first and then ease into it. Live Golf and PGA Tour make it official. They are merging together along with the DP World Tour. But obviously a lot of speculation, a lot of players, or it seems like all players had no idea that this was happening. Obviously, regardless of what you feel about the Live Tour in that situation in the first place, one way or another, there's some hypocrisy going around as far as involved in this, as far as the PGA Tour, Jay Monahan, as far as completely not only just bashing the Live Tour, but or Live Golf, but and I'm not saying I wasn't one of those people as well, but essentially saying the same thing that everyone else says, as far as it's a bad league funded by bad people. And anyone that goes into it should have their morals questioned. And whether or not you agreed with that or not is not the point. Now we're getting right into bed with them and kind of bailing them out from what was sort of a struggle as far as viewership and whatnot for the Live Tour. But obviously, merged together, and after this season, they will be ironing out some more ways that they will merge, get the team aspect involved. Who the hell knows how that's going to look? I think they could get creative and figure out some cool ways to do some team events. But as far as whether or not we'll see the Aces or whoever the hell else was involved over there, I don't know. But nonetheless, that is it in that world. And I'm sure as the week moves on and, into this weekend's event and then into the major that's going on next week, I'm sure over the next week and a half, we will hear a lot more about that deal and what it means. Aside from that, if you didn't see breaking news within the last hour or so out of the MLB, Jacob deGrom getting Tommy John surgery, going on the shelf for the rest of this season, and good chunk of next season most likely as well. I think his stated goal was that he hopes to be ready by the end of next season, but I don't think it would shock a lot of people if this is a season and a half long absence for him. So obviously a tough one there for a guy who's kind of dealt with some goofiness in his arm last 2-3 years, obviously. But when he's healthy, he's the best in the game. So and a real shame for a Texas team that's playing some really good baseball. And if they had him healthy, could have been a true contender in the AL. So obviously going to see how that shakes out. And the AL West definitely has an interesting landscape ahead of it there. So. Moving on to tonight's slate, my friends. As I mentioned, tomorrow night's the night for Game 3 of the NBA. I know Julian Edlow and Jeff Dawson talked about that game this morning on the show this morning between those two, with Game 3 coming up tomorrow. Denver -2.5 favorite, as I'm seeing it right now for tomorrow's game. Curious to see if that does anything ahead of tomorrow night's game time. Tomorrow evening, NHL, I'm not the hockey guy, but as you know, if you are, the Vegas Golden Knights up 2-0. Just absolutely dismantling Florida these two games, 12-4 total through two games. So interested to see how Thursday night's game plays out. You got Florida as the favorite in that game there. So all right, now moving into the MLB tonight. I've got a few that I'm skipping over because I don't like the matchup, don't like the pitching matchup. So we'll breeze right past whatever I don't have here tonight. If you have any questions about something specific, sometimes I've skipped over a game and someone will bring a great question about something specific, and then I'm happy to break it down or give my thoughts, whatever. But as far as tonight's game or slate is concerned, Let's start Kansas City, Miami. This one is in Miami, I do believe. Greinke for Kansas City, Luzardo for the Miami Marlins. If you've heard me talk about Luzardo, I am a Luzardo guy in certain spots. He's been a guy that I've had success figuring out bounce backs and regressions. Not quite sure what to see out of it tonight. 5 earned runs last time out. He was good through the first few innings. I think he ended up with 1 walk, 8 Ks. No runs through 3 innings, and then I think it was only 4 hits, 1 walk, and all 5 of those base runners, if I'm not mistaken, found a way to come around and score in the 4th and 5th innings. So things did blow up for him. Wasn't able to get out of jams there. Greinke has actually been really solid throughout all of May. A lot of solid starts in a row, going through 5 innings in, I think, just about each and every one to start, if not more. But with the spot where you feel like it looks like regression for Greinke and maybe a bounce back for Luzardo, Marlins are playing really well, and this is, aside from the Oakland A's, the second biggest dumpster fire in all of baseball, if I'm not mistaken, in Kansas City as far as record-wise, and I don't think they're too far off from Oakland, if I'm not mistaken. Oakland's 12-50, but Kansas City 18-42. That's by far the second worst record in baseball. And yet you're seeing a Marlins team at home at 165, well into the plus money for the run line, and a 7.5. So, in my opinion, something doesn't add up here. It is a hard pill to swallow. I personally do think Greinke is going to regress at some point. The Royals this year have been pretty good at getting him out of the game two times through the order, not letting him go to that 3rd time through the order. But this one seems quite a bit too good to be true. Would it surprise me if the Marlins found a way to win 4-3 or something like that? No, it wouldn't. But at the end of the day, I certainly am not jumping into things with Luzardo at this price here up against Kansas City. It seems awfully too good to be true for me. So I am backing way the hell away. I'm even a little interested in, I wouldn't say, because you might sit here. I mean, the total is 7.5. I don't know if that's mind games or if both these guys are going to pitch gems tonight. But if I'm doing anything, it might even be Kansas City to get over 3.5 at plus money if I'm doing anything. But honestly, I think I'm staying far away from it. This one is a little funky to me, little mind game action going on, and trying to entice you into that Marlins money line at a heavy tax, or even and we don't like to do home team run lines here, or really any favorite run lines for the most part in general. But certainly do not get yourself into a Marlins run line there tonight at home. I believe, speaking of the Oakland A's, I believe I'm skipping over that one. Minnesota and Tampa Bay should be a good little series here. Where am I at here? Tampa Bay hosting the Twins with Eflin on the mound and Varland on the other side for the Twins. As far as this matchup, you've got Eflin, 3.46 ERA in May through 6 starts, but went at least 6 innings each and every single time. So wasn't fantastic, wasn't bad, but he was very steady and definitely gave Tampa Bay the innings that they need there. Varland's been pretty solid as well for the most part and was very good last time out. 7 innings, 4 hits, no earned runs last time against Houston. I'm kind of putting this one at closer to a toss-up. I certainly think you're getting, if you're looking at Tampa Bay, the number is inflated now and it's taxed. So I certainly am not endorsing getting into any Tampa Bay home action at this number where it's at right now. I do kind of lean towards the Twins, at least keeping this one close. And maybe Varland's in for a good start. Maybe the Eflin's due for a little regression. Twins' offense the last 3 days has been putrid. I could see them in for a little bit of a bounce back. And so I'm not going full-fledged into some type of Twins play here, but that would be if I'm dying to get into this one. I'm interested in a little underdog action today with Varland on the mound here in Tampa Bay, trying to avenge the Twins just lost 2 out of 3 to Cleveland with some ugly offense. So I could absolutely see them bouncing back a little bit here. But like I said, closer to a toss-up, not in love with it, but I would back away from Tampa Bay today. Let's see. Arizona and Washington. Don't love it, but it is a little bit of a goofy number in my opinion here. Arizona sitting at minus 138, I see right here. Down from I guess I do kind of respect the opening number a little bit more there, but and it would not surprise me if Arizona won. This just feels a little goofy to me at this point. You've got Tommy Henry versus Irvin for Washington there. And Henry last time out, 7 innings pitched, 2 hits, 0 earned runs last time against Colorado. Irvin, on the other hand, is very hit or miss. But Arizona, after 6 straight wins last week, lost 2 straight to Atlanta to finish out the weekend. So a lot of people would be expecting them, especially now with the number coming back down to a reasonable price, could be expecting them to bounce back here and get a win against obviously a lesser team in Washington here. But with a 9.5 total and a minus 140, over 9.5, it's like, okay, Irvin, hit or miss guy, 5.67 ERA, could absolutely talk me into him scoring a bunch of runs, or allowing a bunch of runs. But if that's the case, why are we sitting here at minus 140? So either both these guys or Henry is getting blown up, or we're keeping this one low, and the total was a total mind game smoke screen, and we're actually seeing a close 3-2, 4-3 game. But I'm staying far away from it, certainly backing away from the Diamondbacks. Would not be surprised to see this Nationals offense putting up a few runs. You got to go over 4.5 at plus 100 to get any sort of value on that one. So I'm almost leaning towards that if I had to get into that game. But again, Irvin all over the place. Henry has been hit or miss, been better lately. So just a bit of a fishy number from my my understanding there. Moving on down the line to not playing in my neck of the woods, but White Sox and Yankees. White Sox, obviously, my team here. So take it with a grain of salt. But we've got Giolito versus Clarke Schmidt here. At the end of the day, I'll, as a homer, give optimism for Giolito tonight, but he's been, 4.08 ERA, 4.4 win-loss record is pretty indicative of how he's been pitching. Significantly better than what we saw from him last year, but certainly not nails or anything like that. So nothing would surprise me from Giolito tonight. Wouldn't surprise me if he's fantastic, mediocre, terrible. Nothing at all would surprise me there. But this does seem a little bit of a fishy number for the Yankees at home here. White Sox have given them fits over the years, typically. I don't know what the exact records are, but with this group that the White Sox have had, they've given this Yankees team some fits. And at the end of the day, I do think you could see a Clarke Schmidt regression finally. 5 2/3 last time, 3 hits, no earned runs last time out versus Seattle. I could see him regressing for the most part is where I'm leaning with this one. But, again, take it with a grain of salt. But I would, take the White Sox out of this equation. I'd still be thinking the same thing with Clarke Schmidt. So, again, if you don't want to think the White Sox are going to win because you think Giolito could be giving up 7 runs, I could absolutely hear that. I am just kind of leaning in the space of maybe a Clarke Schmidt regression, and I think you'd have to get White Sox at a flat 4 over to get some plus money there. So that's what I would do if I was going to this one, but again, you got to take what I'm talking with a grain of salt there. So let's see. Moving down the line. Moving on over to if anyone's got any thoughts on Houston to Toronto, I was just having trouble breaking down that pitching matchup a little bit for my own confidence there, so I've got nothing on that one. Boston and Cleveland is an interesting one here. Paxton versus Bieber for the Cleveland Guardians. Guardians at home in this one. And it's kind of starting to flip a little bit here. Open at minus 120. Now down, I'm seeing to minus 105 for Cleveland. So flipping to Red Sox being the favorite in this one. Paxton, I believe, bounced back last time. He's only had 4 starts. 3 have been good. Third start was ugly. 4th one last time out, bounced back. But Bieber, if you've listened to me a handful of times, when Bieber is starting, I've talked about him a handful of times. He still has not been himself yet. He was really bad last time out, and that's kind of been in the works for quite a bit here. And you might be thinking that this could be a bounce-back start, and it very well could be. He's had some, despite the issues that he's been facing, he's still been able to grind through a lot of these starts and put up respectable, or run numbers at the very least. But he's just not striking batters out. He's gone over 4 strikeouts only twice this entire season, and it's been a few weeks since he has. He's just not getting guys out. His stuff just isn't quite there. And so until that is changed at all, I'm not trusting him or the Cleveland Guardians while he's on the mound until that changes. He just does not look like the same guy. I think I told you a few weeks ago before he had his first regression start is if you believe that he's going to come back into his previous form and be an all-star, then he's kind of a dark horse for Cy Young. Hasn't appeared to be the case so far, and he's still been grinding through a few of them there. So Total of 7.5, kind of giving you the thought that maybe this could be a low-scoring game. But I am going to lean towards Boston putting up a few here on Bieber, and they're giving you they're making it tough for you to get into the team total if that is the case. I see flat 4 even at -105, but at the end of the day, I do think you're going to see potentially another kind of rough start here for Bieber. Red Sox just lost 3 out of 4 to Tampa Bay, 3 straight, and Cleveland just had a fairly nice series against split 4 games, but won the last 2 there to close out the weekend to get some momentum. But that could be stopped here, in my opinion, today with the Red Sox offense looking to bounce back. So I'm going to lean towards the Red Sox scoring some runs on old Shane Bieber there. Only a few more left that I've got down. I've got a handful that I've skipped over, not feeling confident enough in them. Mets in Atlanta. Carrasco versus Elder. These two guys, honestly, flying pretty under the radar. Carrasco, for obvious reasons, hasn't been as good. But he is improving. 1 earned runs in each of his last two starts out here. But Elder is having one of the more underrated seasons out of anybody in the entire MLB. Somehow only 3-0 record. Obviously, pitcher record is not as big of a deal as we used to make it out to be. But the point I'm trying to make is he's somehow 3-0. He's gone at least 5 innings in each of these starts, and his numbers are fantastic. And the Braves have managed to be, even with him going at least 5 innings, and him having a 1.92 ERA in, I think, 11 starts, he's only 3-0, and they've gone 8-3 in all of these starts. So they're not getting a lot of run support when he's out there, and getting some late heroics in these games to actually give their team the win, but not giving him a chance to get the win here. But at the end of the day, this one is a little tough to get into. You got a 10.5 total. So it's very likely that he could be regressing in this case, as well as Carrasco after two good outings from him. So I'm going to stay away from it. This one might be a popcorn one. If you've been riding the Elder train and he's been fantastic for you and helping you get these Atlanta wins, whatever they might be, then obviously keep riding it. But there could be some runs being scored in this one. I believe weather is another one to watch, so obviously we don't like stopping and starting. I think there is a weather factor involved in this one as well, so obviously something to watch there. But let's see. Moving on down, I skipped over Baltimore and Milwaukee. I like that series, and should be some fun games to watch. Gibson and Peralta are guys that I am feel good about in obvious bounce-back spots or obvious regression spots. Didn't feel strong enough either way for either of them today, so I'm skipping over that one. St. Louis and Texas is another one that on one side of it is tough to judge. I honestly don't even know how to pronounce his name. Liberator for St. Louis hasn't had too many outings yet this year. Started the year on the IL. So don't know what to expect from him. And the Cardinals have fallen back. If you haven't been paying attention the last week, had a rough weekend and week. Fallen back into the well. They are facing Dane Dunning in Texas. Obviously, Texas is the Grom news tonight. But Dane Dunning, former White Sox pitcher, dealt in the Lance Lynn deal, has been over there for a few years now, or a couple years now. And he's been solid for the most part. Kind of had training wheels on him to start. A little bit of had him out of the bullpen a handful of times. Now he's back in that starting role, and obviously without DeGrom is probably going to be stuck in that role for the entire season here. Has been pretty solid this month. 2.28 ERA, 2.06 ERA on the season. 2.28 ERA on the month though in a starter's role, full starter's role every 5 days. There has gone at least 5 innings. 3 earned runs last time out on 7 hits against the Tigers. Before that, 4 starts in May, 2 earned runs or less. So I'm kind of at a spot where I'm, especially with St. Louis, looking for a bounce back to try to regain some momentum that they just lost in their. They've lost 4 in a row. Got swept by Pittsburgh over the weekend. Lost to Texas yesterday 4-3. So I am, and Texas has won 4 in a row. And Texas 39-20, only -140 at home with a pitcher that's been good to this point. I am very firmly leaning towards the Cardinals in this case. I am leaning towards the Cardinals team total. I don't know if you're able to find plus money. I'm seeing 4.5, -110 or even -105. But I expect the Cardinals to put up some runs today. I am strongly considering a Cardinals play today. And honestly, I think they get the job done and get the win and get this losing streak off their out of their rearview mirror or into their rearview mirror. Same thing. Texas ending their win streak there. So I am firmly leaning towards the St. Louis Cardinals tonight. Let's see. I skipped over these next couple. San Francisco, Colorado might be a someone can correct me if I'm wrong. Seemed like it might be a double bullpen game. Berbia and Lamet look like that could be a full bullpen game from both sides. I do not enjoy getting into too many bullpen games. Cubs and Angels, Wesnecky versus Tyler Anderson. Two guys that I just don't have much of a feel for right now. And then finally, and then we will get on out of here, Seattle and San Diego Padres. Logan Gilbert versus Musgrove. Musgrove has actually been pitching pretty good last two really good starts, and Gilbert hit some had a rough last outing, got roughed up a bit. And Seattle themselves also had a rough finish to the week and weekend there, swept by Texas. Not a great series against the Yankees. San Diego's been going back and forth for the most part there. They just finished a 4-game series with the Cubs at home in which they split. Pitching was great in the 2 wins that they had, 6-0, 5-0. Offense was nothing in the other 2, 1-2, 1-7 there. But at the end of the day, I'm kind of having trouble with this one. I would be leaning towards a Logan Gilbert bounce back. My phone's glitching all over the place. Trying to pull up the first 5 number. First 5, you can get it at plus money, plus 106. But with the way Musgrove's been playing, especially Padres at home, Padres obviously haven't been super inspiring, but Seattle's been kind of the same case there. So had I would have needed this one to be a lot higher if I was respecting San Diego and Joe Musgrove here. So I think the number is honestly even been inflated a little bit here. So Seattle and Logan Gilbert is another one that I'm interested in. But in this case, a little more specifically, the first 5 there for Logan Gilbert, and feeling good about that one. So a few nice plays today, a couple towards the end that I definitely like, a handful of leans throughout the show as well. But it should be a fun night of baseball, my friends. Obviously, for the NBA Finals and Stanley Cup crowds, you got nothing coming your way tonight. You'll have to wait one day for the NBA, and you got to deal with the MLB. Obviously, we talked about Jacob deGrom in the opening and the Live Golf merger. We've got the RBC Canadian Open, I think, this week before next week's major championship. So golf is, there's no limits on the news that's coming out right now and the buzz that's coming out. So I assume we'll hear a lot more about that over the next week and a half as these next 2 tournaments, obviously the major especially coming down the pipe in a week and a half. So I'm going to be waiting with all ears on all of those updates as well. So thank you, anybody, for stopping by. I know we were short and sweet, but all we got is baseball tonight. I believe Jeff and Scotty Webb will be on the air here in an hour and a half or so, 6 o'clock Central Time, 7 o'clock East Coast Time, talking all things baseball, probably giving some live updates about tonight's action that's going to be going on here in about an hour and a half or so, starting up at least. So without further ado, thank you for stopping by. Thank you, Con, for commenting as always. Thank you, anybody else that was stopping by throughout the show. But we will make this closing short and sweet as well. Thank you, anybody, for stopping by. And thank you again. I guess I'm not making it short and sweet. I'm repeating myself here. Trying to say good luck on all of your wagers is where I'm trying to be headed with this one. And I hope we will see you tomorrow, breaking down both the MLB and the NBA Finals tomorrow. I don't know what I'm feeling for tomorrow night's game yet. But I'm sure I will be come showtime here tomorrow, about 24 hours from now. So enjoy your evening and enjoy some powerful wagers if you're feeling lucky for yourself there.